knowledge, and understanding. I recently went to El Salvador with my family on a mission trip. We were there during the week of Thanksgiving, and while we were there, we were involved with 4 crusades with thousands in attendance. The amazing thing about this was that a few years ago, the country of El Salvador was in decay. The crime rate in El Salvador was the highest in the world and was known as the murder capital of the world. But within the last few years, El Salvador has caught national attention. Something remarkable has happened to this country. During the recent presidential inauguration, 110 countries from around the world were represented, all coming to see the remarkable transformation of this once devastated country. There's a full interview on YouTube with Carlson Tucker, the president, Nayib Burki, if you want the full story. This is an interesting interview because the president of El Salvador explains how this amazing transformation happened. In the interview, he talks about how the military was fighting against the gangs, trying to take control of the country. He gives the story of how in his office, in his cabinet, they watched as the gangs murdered 87 people in 3 days. As they watched this happening to their country, they did not know what to do. And so President Berkeley said, "We prayed. We prayed for God's wisdom to help us, and within 3 weeks, the country regained order and transformed without one civilian casualty." When asked how this happened by Carlson Tucker, he simply said, "It's a miracle." The country of El Salvador was turned around and transformed by prayer. Second Chronicles 7:14 says, "If my people will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and repent, I will hear them and will forgive their land." Praying for the wisdom and understanding from God is always time well spent. When it seems like the wisdom of God is irrelevant, remember, the ark was built by amateurs. The Titanic was built by a professional. God's wisdom and instruction can bring forth miracles. Let's pray. God, we come to you today asking for your wisdom and your guidance. We pray, Lord, that you would lead our city council and guide them as they make decisions for our community. We ask for direction as they navigate through the order of business that they have to complete. When we don't know what to do, your wisdom will lead us. I pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you. Now we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilwoman Reed.
Please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Okay, Tony from the spot. I didn't know. My God.
Voting roll call.
Yes. Mayor Villarreal.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores.
Here.
Councilmember Nate.
Here.
Councilmember Sanchez.
Here.
Councilmember Soria.
Here.
All present. Thank you.
At this time, the public comment is invited to comment at any subject under the jurisdiction of Lindsay City Council.
Mayor, we actually have approval of it.
Yeah, I see that. So we have an approval for the agenda.
We have a motion from Councilmember Soria, second from Councilmember Sanchez. All in favor, say aye. Motion carries 5-0.
I'm moving too fast, sorry about that. So the public is invited to comment on any subject under the jurisdiction of the Lindsay City Council. Please note that the speakers that wish to comment on regular items or public hearing on tonight's agenda will have an opportunity to speak when public comment or the item is requested by the mayor. Comment shall be limited to 3 minutes per person with 30 minutes for the total comment period, unless otherwise indicated by the mayor. The public may also choose to submit a comment before the meeting via email. Public comments received via email will be distributed to the council prior to the start of the meeting and incorporated into the official minutes. However, they will not be read aloud. Under state law, matters submitted under the public comment cannot be acted upon by the city council at this time. So now we're taking public comments.
I have 2 topics, so I'm gonna. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to all of you, speak to all of you. And coming back, the first topic I want to talk about is a little bit about inclusion. You may recall, those of you that were not in office at the time, but those of you that were, recall that I talked a little bit about inclusion, the importance of inclusion. And part of that was because of the morning of film, and a speaker called Gay Tino, which is happening March 22nd right here in our own theater in downtown Lindsay. At the time I spoke, I asked that the city council would, in their wisdom, propose as an agenda item to see if we could support the film. Now, we've gotten contributions from other areas, local casino, Century 21, the Chamber, Bright Eye Market. Some of us have personally put in money into the event, but it would be better if it were to be a collective. So I'm not, and I know you can't respond now, but I want you to consider in your leadership role to put it as an agenda item and then see the city can make a monetary contribution to the event. The event itself is done by a world-class actor, performer, who is currently doing a play in Los Angeles and is doing a second single-person play called Aging, It Doesn't End Well. So it's a great title. But Gaetino really talks about ethnic identity. It talks about sexual orientation, and it talks about social justice. And it provides the opportunity for us to open a dialogue in our community and hopefully we'll start to raise some questions that we say that we're comfortable with, but in reality, we're not. Many of us are. And so this opens that opportunity. So I ask you again to, through your leadership, make agendize it and then support it. We hope for this to be, and not that we'll come back for support for every event, but we hope this to be a continuing effort to bring discussion items to the to Lindsay so that our community can be better informed, can be more interactive, can have an opportunity to express their opinion. So thank you for that. The second is I want to tell you a short story. I promise to make it very, very short. My family is from Guanajuato, Mexico. My grandfather came during the Mexican Revolution to find a better life in the United States. In the United States, he was offered, he worked and had 10 children, 8 of them males. So when the crash in 1929 happened, my grandfather, like many other families, went to get in line to say, could we have some surplus foods? They told him, no, you're undocumented. You cannot be here. So time passes on, his 8 boys grew up. And during World War II, they came knocking at the door and said, we want to take them all into the service. And he said, you weren't willing to feed them.
It's up to you.
Yeah, well, I can do
That was the first release, right? He said, you weren't willing to feed them, why do you want to take them now? So they arrested him. And they took him off to become incarcerated. The 8 boys went to war. 1 died, 2 got wounded and came back and gave children, had their own families and children. I'm one of those who was born here, and I'm proud to say I have adopted and have a wonderful career. And that's part of the reason I'm here. Inclusion means that we need to take care of our community, regardless of who they are. And one of the things I'm asking folks in the city to take a look at, as many cities have already, is for us to be designated a sanctuary city. Now, there's legislation, which names eludes me at the moment, saying that ICE and the Border Patrol is going to take charge of coming in and being able to pick up and deport people that they suspect might be undocumented. Now, I don't have to remind you, well, you're all old enough. I don't have to remind you of what happened in Arizona. What was that sheriff's name? Parcio or Parcio? Anyway, he gave out the orders. If that person looks like they're undocumented, pull him over and detain him. They pulled over people like me. You know, I've been here my entire life in the United States and a citizen. So it opens the door to being able to chastise people by racial profiling and being able to detain people who do not need to be detained. Plus, it uses our resources to be able to collaborate with a federal agency such as ICE or the Border Patrol to detain people. Many cities have taken the opportunity to designate themselves as a sanctuary city. And what I'm asking of you in your leadership role is to agendize a proclamation. A proclamation that we will not use city resources to arrest, detain, or give information regarding any person that we know of. I happened to be in Oxnard the last time this took place. Some of you may remember this, about 6-7 years ago. So ICE would wait in front of the schools. Mom and dad would stop by to drop off their kids. They'd bust mom and dad, haul them away in front of their children without any kind of plan for what's going to happen to their child. That will happen here. Now, we all may say this is a safe community, but when it comes to the Border Patrol and ICE and that legal entity, their job is not to see who is documented, theirs is to arrest. Now, you will hear the term that they say, well, we're only going after people that are criminals. Well, the fact that you check across the border makes you a criminal. So that makes you fall under the jurisdiction of let's haul you away. They're not looking for rapists. They're not looking for drug dealers. They're not looking for that. It is a racial attack on Latinos in this community. So I'm asking you again, I know you can't answer now, but in your leadership role, raise the issue. Proclamation for a sanctuary city. And let's make sure that we take care of the people that put the salad on your table tonight, that there before you came, are protected. They're our community. They're the people that spend money in our local stores, buying gas here, picking us goods here. And then we don't want you then to be displaced. This is an urgent matter. And as this legislation passes through, it's going to become more urgent because it's going to give ICE and the Border Patrol free access to our law enforcement agency to say, help me get that young man and let's haul him away. And we need to take a position on it. I want to thank you very much for the time.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comments at this time? Now we're gonna move on to council report. Does anyone want to volunteer to go first? I don't even teach a role either.
I'll go first.
Okay. All right, so it feels like a lifetime since we've been up here. We went to the state championship. Joe and I were there. Unfortunately, they lost, but we were at the freaking state championship. So that was amazing. They made it there. There were so many fans from Lindsay. It was moving and it was great and it was a great show. But we showed our support. It was so great. I was the skate park opening. My kids now want to be skateboarders. So I have to get extra insurance because they have my genes and we're not very coordinated. But it was so cool to see all the skateboarders and none of them were wearing helmets and they didn't care. I know the mom in me wants to like put a helmet on them, but they fall hard too, and it was cool. Last week I went to Lindsay Library Art, Family Art. It was called the Family Drawing Workshop. It's so cute. If you guys have a chance to go to the library, they have so many things going on there, and it's free, and the kids love it, and they give you guys snacks. So it's pretty good. We might as well come. Yes, right. And I do want to, Mercy Herrera is not here today. You know, you guys know she's usually here, very vocal. I want to give my condolences to her. She lost her son in New last week, and I just want hugs and prayers for her and her family and her people. That's it. Thank you. Mayor, I have nothing to report. Thank you. Joe?
So yes, it does feel like a year has passed by, but it's only been a month. And I did attend the state championship on December 3rd in Fullerton. It was a great opportunity to see our community really shine. Unfortunately, the outcome wasn't what we wanted, but the fact that we're representing the Central Valley, that we're representing Southern California, that we're representing a hardworking community, very amazing. An amazing opportunity that doesn't come very often. First time in the history of our community that somebody has made it to the state championship game. And so it was really wonderful. And then the next day, I attended the Foothill Rotary Pancake Breakfast. Lindsay made an appearance as well, where the Foothill Rotary hands out about 200 breakfasts for the community. It's a great way to meet people, to put a smile on people's faces. So that was a great event. And I forget the date, but I also attended a posada at McDermott. That was that was the same day, yeah. So the Rotary breakfast was at Breakthrough Church, and so I want to thank them for hosting it. And then it was the same day as I couldn't do it. Posada at McDermott hosted by Virginia, by Night Market, I believe. It was a great event. She handed out hot chocolate or champurrado, champurrado and bread, and she handed out gifts for kids. And I actually got to participate in it, was part of the session of Posada. It was that may not be familiar. It's a session that reenacts and creates a journey where the parents of Jesus Christ had to go asking for sanctuary. And so it's a tradition in Mexican culture. Virginia has been to foster that tradition and share it with most participants. So it was really nice. It was cold that night as well, but Damien did better than I a lot, and so I really appreciate that. And then on the 21st, I attended a concert at the Lindsay Theater. I believe it was a hometown pop-up. It was a rap hip hop show. It was nice to see young people take advantage of a historic landmark in our community. It's been designated an historic landmark, and not all communities have a great theater. So if you have a chance to attend an event there, which you will in a second. And then on January 8th, last week I was able to participate in the Lindsay Community Council hosted by the organization Unidos por Salud. They're working in Lindsay trying to work on tobacco prevention. They're looking to host a tobacco prevention event with a nonprofit that they would sponsor. And so I know the Hill Rotary and a couple of other organizations applied that still available. If anyone would like more information, please let me know. I actually met with Salsa Warriors today, and we discussed the effort to really ensure our communities have an active tobacco prevention, and we inform our community about the dangers of tobacco and what it can cause. And so that was a great opportunity to network as well. I know there's representatives from the Leslie Fowler's office, the county was there, a lot of our staff was there, so it was great to see us come together and share the events coming up, the resources. And looking to the future, at the Lindsay Community Theater, January 31st and February 9th, those weekends they'll be hosting Between the Lines, which from what Mr. Plago, who's the director of the Lindsay Community Theater organization, is a great adventure for a teenager. I can't remember. Between the Lines, it was about a teenager who lives half of her life in reality and half of her life inside the book. So that's what it is called, Between the Lines. So it's a great opportunity to take advantage of our community. The Lindsay Museum's open Fridays, 12 to 4. Network director, Big Pam Kimball is her name, on Fridays. So if you have an opportunity, make it out. And then looking to the future, there's a lot of sports happening, a lot of signups happening. So if you want to spread the word, if you have any questions, if you need more information, please let me know. We have soccer coming up. There's multiple leagues in the city. We have swim. We have baseball. And so there's a lot of things happening, and I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to attend more basketball games. The varsity girls, varsity boys basketball game. Well, I didn't get a chance to attend the naming of the basketball court, the gym, excuse me, at Von Corrales gym. But he was my PE teacher, so it was nice to see his work be recognized. And our boys varsity soccer team played against Clovis a couple weeks back, and they tied. They were leading for most of the game, and in the last 10 minutes, they faltered. But it's great to see that our community is excelling, not just football, but other sports as well. And just to echo some of the words that were shared, I also had multiple families reach out to me and concerned with the rumors of Border Patrol and Immigration Customs, ICE being here in Lindsay, and they were worried, they were scared, and so I really do think that it's important to recognize the fear that some of our community members are living in. And hopefully we can put something on the agenda item to have a proclamation or to have the short statement of support or inclusion for the folks affected by what has been happening and what's going to continue to happen. And it's important that we do remember that this community is built and operates on the back and effort of many families that have gone through the process and are still continuing to do that process. And it'd be unfortunate if we saw children, our students, our community suffer and live through these traumatic events. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Elizabeth. Forgive me. It's good to see everybody here. I did go on Friday to Pocketal. I get to see a few of you there. That was my first time that I've been there. I was happy to see most of us there. I know some of us sometimes we can't make it. But I was happy to meet with some of the staff and a couple of the community members. So hopefully next time we have more community members come out just to just to talk with us. And staff was there so also to talk to staff at the end. I also wanted to say, just give this time just to thank all the firefighters that are out there down south, pray for their families, for the community, their friends. I know we have a lot of friends and family out that way that lost their houses, lost their jobs. So I just wanted to say that, and also for the first responders. So thank them and first. Thank you. That's all I have. I'll piggyback on. I agree with the fires. I was down south last week, and you could see the smoke like from miles and miles away. It was pretty bad. So yeah, kudos to the first responders because they're working hard day and night. So I didn't get to attend the state championship game, but I did watch it while I was sitting the parade here. So I'm here trying to do the parade, trying to judge, getting all the scores and like, man, I mean, really feeling, but it was so cool to see, the people that did show up. I also attended the Christmas parade. I judged that. That was super cool. That just brings joy to my life right there. I've been watching the kids, just, watching the families just being out there, really enjoying what Lindsay has to offer. The skate park, I also attended the opening for that. That was pretty cool. I just love to see stuff that our youth can do, and I know that the population that I teach, they love skating, and that takes them away from other things, and in a more positive environment. So I'm enjoying that. I attended the pancake breakfast. The first coffee talk of the year was really a good turnout. I'm hoping that more people show up. I also attended the renaming of the gym to Don. They renamed it to Don Perales. For many of you guys don't know him, he's a coach for 39 years here. He's just a Lindsay guy, and it was just super cool to see a lot of people come back that I haven't seen in years. So, and then I attended the TCAG board meeting, representing Lindsay. I can't really discuss because it was just, other things on there, but I attended that representing. It was super cool. It was my first time. So, yeah. So that's it. Thank you. And staff updates, city services.
Hello. So I'll go through a couple of things that we've had going on. So they are finishing up the punch list for the Tulare Foothill Roadway project. So they're finishing all the little things that are, were part of the project. We have the sluice gate is being installed at the wastewater plant facility. That's the gate that allows them to basically stop the flow of things. That's something that was previously identified as the HCD project, and that's finally coming in on Saturday. We've been working on the Kaku cleanup park. As I've reported before, there's a bunch of trees out there that we've identified need to be trimmed back. They started on the south side of the property and ended up looking at their so we're going to continue with that. The playground equipment for the Olive Bowl Park actually arrived on Monday morning. So we, as you know, we got a grant for just under $300,000 for playground equipment. That was delivered out to one of our city facilities to be stored until it's ready to be installed. So we're hoping they're still on schedule with Olive Bowl. I think it's planned for around June to be installed, the end of May, June, for the installation of that equipment. So it was nice to see that going up. About all we have written.
Cool, thank you. Finance.
Good evening. Finance is continuing to work through the different audits that we have going on. We are currently in the process of preparing responses to our state audit that just concluded. We're working on the USDA audit and water board. So we'll continue to work on the budget and we are preparing to implement the new software that was approved.
Human resources.
Good evening, council. Just a couple things we want to update you guys on. It's kind of first of the year, end of year updates from the HR standpoint. So all of our HR boards are all updated. They're all within state, federal regulations of what we're required to do. I got them all updated. They were out of compliance, I think it's about 2022, but we got ourselves up to date. We're where we need to be. So if you ever are at any of the locations, there's a lot of documentations up there. So just know we are in compliance at both state and federal level. We are wrapping up our workplace violence prevention plan for training for the city. So 1st of January of 2024, state of California enforced section 6401-9, which we have to provide that type of training for all staff annually. So I will ensure from an HR standpoint that it's done on an annual basis. We will be 100% compliance this week between myself and Lieutenant Nave. We're the committee members for that. And we're tag teaming public safety and city staff. Annual OSHA summary postings have been completed and filed with CalOSHA. So those postings go up February 1st, will remain up until April 30th. Obviously, we're a smaller city, but we had a total of 5 reportable claims with 11 days of total lost time. So that puts our workers' comp injury rate about 8.06%, which is very good for the size of our organization. No major injuries, which is awesome as well. And then recruitment updates, just to get you guys updated on that. We are currently recruiting for a Recreation 1 part-time open position for the Wellness Center. We have our seasonal lifeguard positions up right now as well for open recruitment. And then we also have our public safety officer posted on our career page also. And then just some turnover, kind of higher number KPIs from HR standpoint. This may not mean much to you guys as kind of HR statistics, but just to kind of give you guys an overview. For the year 2024, we had a total of 22 hires. Separations, we were at a total of 35. We averaged about 62 employees for that year. So that put our turnover rate to about 56.45%, a hiring rate of 35.48%, and that put our retention of about 43.55%. So these are just kind of statistics to help me from an HR standpoint kind of determine where we need to work on retention, kind of where our staffing numbers are. Obviously with finance, and Lindsay and I were working hand in hand to kind of determine where we're at, and obviously as well. And that is everything. Any questions? Say
The position of is that up?
not at the moment, no. So that is, we don't have anything at that one, for my knowledge.
Are you meaning city services, like director?
Engineer or something?
So we have a contract engineer that it will actually be on the agenda tonight, contract services, but we don't have a engineer position that's currently being formed.
What about director of city services?
Not at the moment, we hold that position down just due to the difficulty of filling it. So kind of what our, and we can go more detail on that as well to you guys. I think we're just trying to get the department restructured, get things kind of more aligned, to get that groundwork kind of laid out. So that way, once we get to a position where we decide to reopen that recruitment, we kind of have all that laid out together for somebody that knew that. So right now, that is been put on hold, but we are working obviously with Ryan and Damon. Everybody's kind of tap teaming that to kind of work with city services to get them up to par and see where they need support at, and kind of get them structured accordingly before we start recruitment efforts.
I have a question. You said there was 5 incidents last year, or
Yeah, 5 total for the year 25.
it was 11 man days missed?
11 days is correct. Yeah, that's pretty much the time off for the
That's pretty good. I wanna.
Yeah.
city, and I appreciate that, and I want to say thank you for updating the boards as an employee. It's important that, you know, our employer understands and values us, so we can, find the protocols to make sure that's getting. I appreciate that. Long time, standards, so, thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right, thank you.
Public safety?
Good evening. First of all, I want to talk about the Santa night. That was a very big hit, even though Renee was not there. First time that I know she has not attended. We could have used her help because she really runs the show there with the kids. I think we served or serviced almost 1,000 children that night, and right after the parade. Very busy night, very long night. City services, the police, fire, all hands on deck. I mean, everybody was there. It's a very good turnout. I think that we went through about all of the toys that we had that the association had purchased and through donations and monies. And then following that, we had some special gifts that we had donated by one of the car clubs and through some of the funding through the police department. We went out and did some targeted gifting to some of the children and some of the places here in town. That was a lot of fun. We spent a few hours doing that, just personally giving them out. And we also had a code drive with Valley Pure with their help and some food drive. We still have some of those on the gift, so we can do some giveaways on some branded coats. We have about $5,000 coats that we're going to be giving out to some of the kids that we see maybe walking to school and don't have a coat on or something like that, or walking home or wherever they're walking. So we're going to be doing some of that. Also, I wanted to kind of touch on the immigration thing, because I knew that that might be something that would come up and started hitting on the social. First of all, it wasn't really, from what I have been told and what I found out, it wasn't a targeted immigration roundup type thing. It was a detail targeted towards criminal activity, some people that had warrants and things like that. It wasn't in Tulare County, although social media may have kind of painted a picture trying to kind of spread that fear and putting into people's minds in different communities, one of them being in Lindsay, because there was a supposed sighting at Lindsay Foods, and that was never confirmed, and we never got pictures of it or anything like that, and I never got any true sources to tell me that it was actually true. But I, as a chief, work under the direction of the city manager, and as long as it is legal and constitutional, I'm going to be doing that at his direction. The police department, we are not affiliated with immigrations, and we don't enforce immigration laws, so there's no worry for that. I think our focus is for helping the people in our community, whether regardless of their citizen status. They're our community, and we are going to provide that's our key is to provide a safe community for the people of Lindsay. So whether they're legal citizens or not, that's just what we do. Work for immigration, so we assist them in trying to deport anybody. If a criminal is a criminal, it doesn't matter if they're legal or not. That's what we're here for, is to take criminals to jail. So I talked to the sheriff. He assured me that nothing was going on in Tulare County. There's still nothing going on in Tulare County. I actually talked to him again today. It was Fresno County and Kern County specifically targeted by immigrations and U.S. Marshals to pick up certain people that were being targeted. But bottom line, I want the citizens, the people of, I shouldn't even say citizens, the people of the city of Lindsay and the area of Lindsay to know that they are safe and should feel free to come to any police officer in Lindsay to report anything they want, to talk about anything they want, without any fear of being identified or profiled as a illegal alien or a non-documented person or anything. In fact, I wish that we would focus our efforts and energy on providing them ways to become citizens if that's what they would like to do, instead of trying to find out if they're not. If they would like to, because it's honestly, it's illegal for us to go and ask if they're even a citizen or not. That is not what we do. We can't. We're forbidden by law. So anybody you talk to, direct them to my office if you need to. Have them call me if they don't feel comfortable coming in to talk, because we're not going to take anybody to jail regardless of their status unless they are a criminal and they're wanted for criminal activity. I know that just crossing the border is supposedly a crime, but that's not a crime that we take anybody to jail for. So rest assured that is not what we're going to do. It's not what we are doing. And I can't talk enough about it. It's not what we do. That's not what I wanted. That they're valuable people just like all of us. So any questions?
Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you for that clarification also. I want to say thank you too, but I just wanted to add, I think, there's no harm in having a discussion regarding having a proclamation for the central city. There's a lot of, immigrants that, I'm sure listen, they hear rumors, and just to put their minds at ease that we're just taking this, if it happens, we're taking it a step further simply to ease their mind. So I do appreciate the description and, everything you did say too, but I think sometimes we have to go a step further just to show them that the discussion is real and is scary for them. So just putting their mind on ease, and I feel like it didn't do any harm to anybody. So, I mean, I would like to have this discussion further. So I just wanted. I don't know if we can put that on a discussion item. I mean, I know there's some time, but there's time for that, but yeah, it's been brought up, we can put that on a discussion item.
At the end of the meeting, when we have the future items, we'll
We'll
put it down there.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
I just want to add that, again, a lot of things that this program does, nobody knows about, we don't share on social media, but I'm gonna share this part because, we had a new family come to Lindsay from Strathmore, after the parents, were in a really bad car accident, they lost their dad. These learners are from Roosevelt, we have 3 learners at Roosevelt and 1 at Lindsay High School. And one of the counselors reached out and asked for bikes. I reached out to Sergeant Riley and the Police Officers Association, and they purchased bikes for these kids. They live in Tonyville, in this little trailer. And we took them out there, and you guys, it was the most moving, beautiful thing to see these little boys. And I can't say enough about our guys. And I just want you guys to know that they go beyond anything that you can think. They do so many things behind the scenes. And I did take pictures. I didn't share them because sometimes there's some things that just stay with you. And but these little boys are so happy with their bikes. And I need to give you guys helmets. I'm always about safety. But I just wanted to kudos to Sergeant Riley and the LPOA because they didn't have to buy kids. There were 4 bikes. And they were all the same for the 3 little ones. And then the little boy says, I always wanted a bike and the blue one. And it was blue. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. I'll have to show you guys. But thank you. Thank you.
So thank you for sharing, clarifying a part of what's going on. I think it's important that we disseminating that information to our community, making sure that they understand that that's the law. I know some of us, now we know, and a lot of us are going to share that, but it's important that we over communicate. It's important that we share that, and what you said is very thoughtful, and I appreciate you really respecting the heart. I mean, and really, saying that you value everyone, to me, that means a lot. And it's important that our community knows that you said that you mean that, and that you truly care about, all the community. And, we want to thank you. And, for our community, you know.
Do you have anything else? Good?
No, I
Okay,
think
thank
that's
you.
it.
Just wanted to make sure, recreation service?
Yeah.
You're
He's here.
never in the back.
I have to concede my time.
All my time is that. Well, I was here, but good evening, Mayor, council members. All right, so I got a couple of updates, coming up. Glad that the busy season is over. We see the slow season, but, Lindsay is one of those cities that love to celebrate as a community, so it's a good thing. But we're getting ready for the spring and summer, new year. So we have 2 classes coming up for lifeguard, certification at the wellness center. These are open to the community. Most of the time it's our new hires or our rehires that need to get recertified for the program or to continue with their employment in the city. So this year we have a session in February and a session in March. If they're a new, employee or a new person taking a course, it's $200, and then they're renewing the $150. And that covers the cost of the instructor and for the certificate and the book. So it sounds like a lot, but the certificate's good for 2 years. So we just have to renew it every year. So, seems like a lot, but they do get paid once they do. Then next I have, pickleball. So finally, we're gonna start a pickleball adult spring league. Started in March. Registration begins tomorrow. So we're excited. We're gonna have co-ed and singles, and then, a tournament for the league at the end of the season. So they'll be guaranteed 8 games, and then we'll have a double elimination tournament on a Saturday morning, to finish off the league. And that's the format we're gonna kind of go with every season. We'll have a spring, summer, and a fall. We'll take a break in winter time. It's a little chilly out, and that's when we're kind of busy with the holiday season. So we'll take a break in the spring or in the winter time, but I did want to share this with you guys. Also, I don't have a slide for this. Dennis Stone wanted me to remind the community and city council about their awards and installation dinner on February the 1st at 5 p.m. at the Veterans Memorial Building. I know I reached out to some of the city council members already, but he just wanted to make sure the community knew what's happening, and there'll be more information coming out hopefully tomorrow. And congratulations to Officer Lieutenant Nate for Man of the Year. So, that would be my report. Any questions?
Any questions?
I have a question. Is that class for the lifeguard open to the public? Or yeah, open to the public. But usually it's either our employees that usually take it, or we have a couple from Porterville that they do apply for city of Porterville, but their classes later in the year in May. So they'll just take ours, that way they just get out of the way, but guarantees them a position with the city while we have that certificate. And it's open for underage. And so it's 15 and up, 15 and a half. But we employ them when they're 16, but they can take the course when they're 15 and a half. That's right across. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. And now we're moving on to our city manager report.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. It's been a extremely busy month. We got through the holiday season. And I will tell you that, I learned that the city of Lindsay is the best place to be during the holidays. There's a lot going on. I have a lot to report tonight. I'm trying to get very quickly. Dating back to December the 11th, I had the honor of attending an open house hosted by Senator Melissa Hurtado, who represents California's 16th district. As you know, Senator Hurtado has been instrumental and very supportive of our community. She's advocated for the city of Lindsay specifically. She's played a key role in securing funding for police vehicles and fire engine
I had, thanks to Eric Coyne, I had the opportunity to speak with her briefly and personally thank her for all that she's done to support the city. On Thursday, December 12th, I attended the head rally at the Lindsay High School where we rallied behind the football team as they loaded up on the bus to make their trip to Fullerton, and then I participated with the chief in the procession. We went through town and made stops at some of the local school sites where other learners were out with their signs cheering on the football teams. It was amazing to see the community support. There were a lot of people out that day to support the team. That evening, I spent a few minutes at the Lindsay Museum and Gallery Christmas party, giving a quick tour of the museum's new display, which features a lot of Lindsay's longtime businesses. And then that evening, I also attended the Kiwanis Christmas party. I actually, just a little bit of trivia, I won a prize that night for knowing the lyrics to Psalm 12 Days of Christmas. On Friday the 13th, I joined some of our service staff and attended the Mid-Valley Disposal and Recycling Luncheon, where they provided an update on some of the current and upcoming changes in the law regarding this 13 free. That evening, had the pleasure of watching the Christmas parade and was also able to assist with Santa night. And that was just an amazing, very, very heartwarming. On Saturday the 14th, took part in the Sada alongside several other community members, journeying through downtown area, stopping in several businesses, and sang. And it was just an amazing time. And then we ended up at the McDermott Center where there was a large crowd of people waiting for us, and it's just a great time of fellowship, cookies and pastries, and had a raffle with some really great prizes. On Monday the 16th, visited Lindsay Gardens along with several Rotary members, and Armando de Silva was there also. And we sang Christmas carols and handed out blankets to the residents there. And that was very heartwarming. On Wednesday the 18th, attended the ribbon cutting and grand reopening of the skate park. Don't know if you saw the post that Armando and I got a picture taken on skateboards at the top of one of the new ramps. So that's kind of cool. And then on Friday we had the first coffee talk. We weren't sure, given the proximity of the holidays, we weren't sure what kind of turnout we would have, but the attendance was actually, we were pleasantly surprised. And then Wednesday, January the 8th, we had our first community coalition meeting, and that's always a great networking opportunity. We heard a report out from several organizations within the community, and it's always a good way to stay abreast of what's going on in various organizations. Last Thursday, I was visited by a gentleman by the name of Raymond Macareno. He's the Director of Business Development for the Lindsay Living Water Clinic, who has purchased the old church that's right next door. They are in the process of remodeling that facility. And once remodeled, the clinic is going to offer obviously primary care and then some specialty care. They're going to do care coordination and case management for our community. Also, they will be offering telehealth services and mobile clinic services. So we have a meeting scheduled for next Thursday at 10 a.m. A little bit more about what the clinic's plan is for the future, and then how the city of Lindsay can partner with them and develop a great working relationship. At the end of last week, the director of the State Department of Finance, Joe Stevenshaw, presented the governor's 2025-26 proposed budget during a press conference showcasing a relatively status quo budget for California. And due to final budget amendment for 24-25 to spread the $45 million deficit over a 2-year period, the 25-26 proposed budget brings the state back into a more stable fiscal footing, if you will, with a modest reserve of actually a surplus of 363. So that's kind of a moving target, so we'll see what that looks like as they go the process of getting this in place, and maybe the amendment is scheduled for May. So we'll see what that looks like. And then now that we've formalized our economic development committee, organized council and committee assignments, we have our first official economic committee meeting. And this coming Thursday, actually it's January the 23rd, Thursday, January the 23rd at 3:30 p.m. So looking forward to getting that rolled out and getting moving with some potential redevelopment activity in the downtown. And that will conclude my report.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? Now we're gonna move on to 10.1. The resolution of commendation for Joseph Medina. Wanna look here? Bring the hand here. Medina served as the acting director of city services and planning from March of 2024 until September of 2024. Stepping into this critical leadership role during a transitional period for the city, where he displayed exceptional commitment and effective leadership. And whereas he willingly embraced an additional responsibilities and challenges of the position, ensuring the continued success, stability, and the operation of the department, while still fulfilling his duties as the city service manager, building inspector, and whereas Joseph demonstrated professionalism and collaborative approach, earning the respect of his colleagues, staff, and external partners. And whereas he fostered the environment of excellence, promoting a positive and supportive atmosphere and contributing to the overall success of the department under his guidance. And whereas Josephina's efforts were instrumental in achieving departmental goals, delivering quality services, and successfully navigating the challenges of the transitional phase. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the city of Lindsay, on behalf of the staff and community, extends its heartfelt appreciation and gratitude to Joseph Medina for his leadership, unwavering dedication, and services as acting director of city services and planning. So on behalf of me, and I know my leadership team right here, we appreciate what you do and what you did for the city of Lindsay.
Thank you, Mayor, thank you, council members. Family, my wife and mother came, my son, and daughter, for supporting me and putting up with me and still putting up with me. You know, and my coworkers. All here. Yeah, everybody, you know, we all had to come together. We all had to put on different hats. Some of us still do. There's still a lot in our department that we run. We still have a lot of, you know, things that we work on, and there's a lot to it. But thank you guys, and thank you for my coworkers. I wouldn't, you know, be able to do it without them. With Ryan, Damon, thank you.
We appreciate you. You can invite your family up. Come on. This is all about families. So they go down again. We can sure eat. Oh wait, look at her. Hey, look at me now. Say money. Yes, man.
understand, you're wrong. I'm just taking care of.
I know.
Trying to get the podium out of the. Can you?
It's.
Oh.
Okay.
Probably get one.
Oh, yeah, I don't even have to check it. Oh, and I didn't wear a jacket because I want to bring out a little hard. I'm like, man, yeah, I'll be in the second. Right.
Ready?
I'm gonna grab one.
I know, I would go with it.
Whatever. My best was there. I'm gonna get out. So.
Every year I go there or one, that's sweet, I like. The next, the name. I go. So now we're moving on to 11.1 for the presentation, the county, Tulare County.
So the presenter will be via Zoom. So on your screens, it's Suhei Martinez. She is the health assistant with Tulare County.
Thank
She is online and ready to go. So Suhei, whenever you're ready.
Hello, good evening. Thank you so much for welcoming me to the city council meeting. I can see just from being here for a little bit that it's a very tight-knit community, so I'm very happy to be part of it for the evening. If you'll allow me to share my screen, one moment. Okay. Is that visible to everybody? It should say STD education, prevention, and testing.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I am with, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, thank you. So I am with Tulare County Department of Public Health. We are also known as the Health and Human Services Agency, or at least that's the branch that we fall under. So as you can see by our logo, it says in big bold letters, HHSA, that's Health and Human Services Agency, and we are specifically the public health branch. So my program is specifically the STI/communicable disease program. STI and STD are essentially the same thing. STI stands for sexually transmitted infection, whereas STD stands for sexually transmitted disease. Throughout the presentation, I may use STIs more frequently, so that way everyone's on the same page. And as far as communicable diseases go, that is any illness that can be transmitted to a person, which of course includes sexually transmitted infections. It includes things like valley fever, which our community is very much susceptible to. Things like avian flu, H5N1, Mpox, which we saw an outbreak of just this past summer in the area. So that being said, what the STI/communicable disease program focuses on is mainly education, at least on my side. I am with the health education side of the program. So we provide community education, we answer the public's questions, we provide this education in English and Spanish, and whatever other language a personnel member may speak and is able to, within capacity, provide education in that language. We share educational materials on STIs and other communicable diseases. For example, we know that many folks in the county have families, right? So we do our best to bridge gaps between people who may have not otherwise thought to talk about these things, especially if they have a young person or a child in their family. It can be kind of intimidating to approach the topic, so we provide helpful tools to kind of start that conversation. For example, we have a piece of material that explains how a parent might approach these topics with a child across their lifespan, starting with when they're a baby or a toddler, discussing what is an appropriate touch versus what is not, all the way up to when they're 18. And then the conversation can be a little bit more open and detailed. A parent can share their values with their child, etc. We also distribute safer sex supplies across the county, and that includes things like contraceptives, such as condoms. That also includes lubricants and dental dams. And I'll be talking a little bit more about these different items as we get into the presentation. We also participate in community events and health fairs. So we really want to raise awareness about the fact that Tulare County is considered a hotspot for STIs, unfortunately. So we definitely want to bring those numbers down and make the community aware of these issues and properly equip them so that they can better improve their circumstances and protect themselves from acquiring an STI, and of course, sharing the knowledge. The more you know. We also work with nurses on our team to assist and educate patients about STIs and other communicable diseases. We partner with Altura Centers for Health to provide rapid syphilis testing throughout Tulare County. And we also have the Condom Access Project. What actually brings this presentation today is the fact that the Lindsay Wellness Center is a Condom Access Project site. So thank you so much to Armando and Megan for having us here tonight. And thank you so much to the Lindsay Wellness Center for participating in the Condom Access Project. Now, the information that we'll be talking about throughout the presentation contains information from previous years. We are working on updating the information for the year of 2025. So if it's possible to bring us back at another time, we would be more than happy to share the updated information with you then as well. Okay, so a little bit about background data. As you can see from the graphic here, 1 in 5 people in the United States have an STI. That totals nearly 68 million infections in 2018. There were 26 million new STIs in 2018, and almost half of those new STIs were among youth aged 15 to 24 in the US. New STI cases total nearly $16 billion in direct medical costs annually. So STIs are preventable, but they definitely pose a significant public health problem. And these numbers are consistent from year to year, as we have found. So a bit about California overall when it comes to STIs. In 2019, there were these amounts of reported cases. So for gonorrhea, again in 2019, there were 80,599 gonorrhea cases. This is a 236% increase compared to 2009. For chlamydia, there were over 237,630 cases, a 61% increase compared to 2009. And syphilis is a bit complex compared to other STIs. There are different stages to it depending the timeline that a person has it. So for syphilis in all stages, there were 28,846 cases in 2019, which was a 349% increase compared to 2009. Again, for syphilis, from 2018 to 2019, there was a 14% increase for all stages just within that year. There was a 33% increase in females ages 15 to 44 years of age, and a 36% increase for congenital syphilis, which is when a pregnant person has syphilis and the syphilis can be passed on to their baby during the pregnancy or childbirth. So STIs continue to rise in California, and we'll talk more about STIs in Tulare County, as you can see. But there are disparities among young adults, ages 15 to 24, African Americans, gay and bisexual men, and men who have sex with men. So looking at cases in Tulare County specifically, we can see with gonorrhea from the years 2020 to 2022, how the numbers change a bit. So in 2020, there were 765 cases. In 2021, those increased up to 813. In 2022, it went back down a bit to 688. For chlamydia, in 2020, there were 2,915 cases in Tulare County. The next year, in 2021, there were 2,931. So it increased just a bit. And in 2022, there were 2,918, a small decrease. And there is a focus on chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis throughout this presentation, and also congenital syphilis, because these STIs pose significant numbers for our county. And chlamydia, gonorrhea specifically are also some of the most common STIs, particularly for chlamydia. Now, speaking of syphilis cases for Tulare County, for early syphilis, which is exactly as it sounds, it's some of the earlier stages of syphilis when somebody first gets syphilis. So in 2018, we saw 45 cases. In 2019, we saw 86 cases. In 2020, 116. In 2021, 184. And in 2022, 168. And these numbers, we should also be aware that they are not 100% concrete. These are just cases that we know of, right? For average annual congenital syphilis cases, and these are syphilis cases, again, that happen when a pregnant person has syphilis and it can be passed on to their baby. So this is the yearly averages for these couple of years, according to the chart. So from 2014 to 2016, there were an annual average of 3 congenital syphilis cases. 2017 to 2019, there was an annual average of 4.7 congenital syphilis cases. And from 2020 to 2022, the annual average more than doubled, actually it tripled, up to 12.3 for average annual average of congenital syphilis. Now, here is a side-by-side comparison after we just discussed the numbers for California overall and the numbers for Tulare County. But these rates are specifically per 100,000 people in a population, and these were taken from the year of 2021. So first and foremost, looking at the bullets to the left-hand side, we should be aware that Tulare County's primary and secondary syphilis rate increased by 77% from 2020 to 2021. In 2021, that was the first year that the Tulare County rate for primary and secondary syphilis exceeded the state rate. So Tulare County had more primary and secondary syphilis cases than the entire state in 2021 for the first time. Tulare County's congenital syphilis rate went from below the California rate in 2020 to above the California rate in 2021 and 2022. And we can see those numbers to the right-hand side in the graphic. So for chlamydia, Tulare County had 617.1 cases, whereas California would have had 488.2 cases per 100,000 people. So Tulare County has more cases than California combined. Gonorrhea, there's 171.2 cases, whereas all of California may have 233.1 cases. That's, Tulare County is not the biggest county out there. So it's definitely a concerning number, despite still being less than 233. It's at 171. Primary and secondary syphilis. If Tulare County has 28.4 cases in 2021, California had 22.4. Just a six difference there. Congenital syphilis, 113.4 cases, whereas California would see 112.4 cases. So again, this is definitely why we want to bring awareness to the community and provide the proper tools to keep our community safe. And here's how we can keep our community safe and keep ourselves safe above all. It definitely comes down to personal autonomy or somebody being able to make their own decisions. So we definitely want to provide information and access to the decisions that would protect somebody's health. So first and foremost, there's abstinence, which is the most reliable protection. If someone chooses not to have sex, then there is no possibility of contracting an STI, right? It's 100% effective. And that's always an option at any time, anywhere, for anyone. If someone chooses to not practice abstinence and they want to be sexually active, there are latex condoms available for them. If someone is going to use latex condoms, it's important to use them correctly. They are one-time use, using only one at a time, and making sure to be careful with them as well. The reason why we have the fact that somebody should use water-based or silicone-based lubricant with latex condoms is because if someone uses an oil-based lubricant with a latex condom, that can break the material, rendering the condom useless if it breaks. Someone may also want to use lubricant with condoms in general, of course, water-based or silicone-based, because lubricant provides more smoothness. It decreases friction. If there is friction during a sexual activity, the likelihood of skin breaking and the possibility of getting an STI increases, especially if someone has broken their skin because things are too dry, skin is rubbing together, creating friction, right? The lubricant lessens the friction. There's also frequent screening. Someone can get screened for an STI every 6 to 12 months, or more often if they have a new sexual partner. If someone is going to have multiple sexual partners, a good rule of thumb is to get screened anytime they have a new one, or at least every 3 months. If we know our status, the sooner, the better. It's also a good idea to screen partners before having any type of sexual activity. And this goes hand in hand with having open communication with a partner or a potential partner. These are things that we may want to be privy to before we engage in any kind of sexual activity with someone we're just meeting or dating, or if someone is straying away from a monogamous relationship. In other words, somebody is going to be having sexual activities or sexual relations with another person. That's something that we may also want to be aware of. And choosing to have sex with only one partner who does not have any kind of infection can also lower the risk. But again, this goes hand in hand with talking with a partner about it. Next, we also have the Condom Access Project, of course. So the Condom Access Project aims to increase access to condoms to help prevent the spread of STIs in Tulare County. The way that it works is that Tulare County Health and Human Services Agency, Public Health Branch, us and the STI/communicable disease program, we have these little receptacles or containers, and we have condoms, contraceptives, dental dams, which are kind of like a condom, but specifically for activities using the mouth. We have internal condoms or female condoms, which are a little bit rarer to find. Usually somebody needs a prescription for them. And we have lubricants. So we would take these items, we would take the container, and we would provide them to a local agency or a business, such as the Lindsay Wellness Center. We have a barbershop in Early Mart that participates as well. And these are just displayed somewhere out in the open in the agency or a business. That way the community is free to come and take some as they need them. And we do restock on a monthly basis or as needed. We currently have condom bowls at 31 locations across the county. And if you or someone you know may be interested, please do contact us at the Communicable Disease Team. And this is the best email to use at cdreporting@tularecounty.ca.gov. Thank you so much. That concludes my presentation. I really appreciate you having me here. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. From those statistics, I think you need more than 31 locations.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Can you email this presentation to me?
I have it.
Do you do these presentations at school? That's what I was gonna ask. I don't know if she could hear me.
I'm
If
sorry.
you're talking to the microphone directly.
Hi, do you do these kind of presentations at schools?
We have different presentations for different audiences. This is one that's a little bit more broad about the program, about the Condom Access Project specifically. But we have different ones that we may use for teens, that we may use for older adults, or that we may use for a general setting like this one.
Was those statistics based on adults or just people in general?
For people in general, I would speculate. I will admit I'm not 100% sure, but if a case is coming from a young person or somebody who may be older in age, it's still a case. So that's the answer that I would give.
I think schools need to see that presentation.
Yeah, we are definitely working on getting this out into more school districts. So if you know somebody, definitely let me know. We would definitely love to collaborate with local school districts more.
I can send you her info.
Okay. Go ahead, Armando, sorry.
We want to thank Ms. Martinez for presenting tonight. We wanted to present this front of the city council before we offered it to the community, 100%. So we do have a container full of condoms and lubes and Damon's office currently, and they'll be at.
Thank you.
And then we'll be at the wellness center. So Ms. Martinez has been racially emailing us monthly, see if we need a refill, but we've been good. So we're just trying to keep this community safe. The wellness center was one of the spots we're thinking. I believe Ms. Martinez at the health fair, I think county, were you there? Right? Yes.
She nodded yes.
Okay.
She nodded.
So we just kind of linked up and we thought this would be a good program for the wellness center, but we did present this to council. That way you guys know what's going on. The education for everybody is always good. So that's what we're doing tonight.
Do they have to be a certain age?
Or, I mean.
They're just gonna be out, so
Hmm?
anybody can grab, hopefully the child with the parent, but,
Okay.
but yeah, it's pretty much anybody.
Yeah, there is also no age requirement to purchasing them in the store. And just like everything else in the store these days, condoms, contraceptives can be also pretty pricey. So they're there available for free for anyone who is interested for themselves or for a friend.
I appreciate you doing this presentation. I know it's not the easiest thing to talk about. And we appreciate it. I mean, there were some giggles and stuff like that. But it's really valuable information. And to see the statistics, that's crazy. We need to put these in schools, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so
Sorry,
much.
one more question about following up on the businesses. You said, there's an opportunity for businesses to host, or be part of the TAPS program. Do they have to fill out an application, or how would they go about this?
It's actually a pretty swift process. When I went through it with Armando, that was, truth be told, my first time doing it myself. I'm a little bit newer to the program, so when Armando joined, that was my first time also filling it out. But it's a very quick form. It basically just entails the details of the agreement, which is basically that the container will be out in the open for anybody to grab. That we will replenish it on a monthly basis or as needed. And so we just get a signature on that and it's ready to go. I will go and drop off the container and the contraceptives, and we can keep that partnership going for as long as we want to. We also understand if there's someone who maybe the community just isn't too receptive of it. We totally understand that as well. But the fact is that we're making the effort. So that goes a long way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Today, we did have just one quick question. Do you have a copy of that presentation in Spanish that you can email over?
Yes. Anything that the county makes, we provide in English and Spanish. So yes, I can get that to you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions?
I think we're all good. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I wish you all a wonderful evening and I appreciate your time.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
And so now we're moving on to the consent of the calendar. The routine items approved in one motion unless an item is pulled for discussion. There will be no separate discussion of these matters unless a request is made, in which event the item will be removed from the consent calendar to be discussed and voted upon by a separate motion. Do we have to approve our motion?
I motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Soria, second from Councilmember Sanchez. All in favor, say aye. Motion carries 5-0.
So that brings us to 13.1, the adoption draft of the initial study. The mitigated the mitigated negative declaration for the well 11. And this is presented by Ryan.
Hello, thank you, council. So again, we are here for the adoption of the draft and study and mitigated declaration for the well 11 treatment project. Before we begin, we did receive one public comment from the state for this public hearing. You each should have a copy of it in front of you. And at the end of this, I'm going to request that the city clerk incorporate this into our report. So, and minutes. So there's really three sections to this item. The first is that we first hold a public hearing on the adoption of the study pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act, incorporate any public comments in the report. So if council wants to, I'll give a brief kind of synopsis of this well program and then we'll go to that. So primarily the city of Lindsay has two main sources for our water. We have well 14 and well 15 that is groundwater, and you get water from the Frank now. Currently, well 14 and 15 are our sources that we get about 2,500 cubic feet. From, we have well 11, which is over at Mariposa and Highway 65. The problem is that it's contaminated with nitrates and chlorates. The city of Lindsay has been in communication with the state to try to fund a treatment center to treat that water. Through the California State Water Resources Board, we initially had a commitment for a 30% grant for construction and operation. They've since brought that up to 90%. As you also know, the city received a settlement of $6.5 million that council has committed towards this project. What we're looking at doing is utilizing those state funds for the actual construction, the design, and implementation, and then using those SQM settlement funds for its operation for the next, foreseeable future. So with this item, there was a study that was done by Provost and Pritchard to basically evaluate what the environmental impact would be of a treatment facility at that location. That's what the initial report is. It's a document that should be in your council packets. It's around 260, 270 pages. And we looked at ways that we would mitigate any potential environmental impact. The state then in this second document had a couple of questions. Provost and Pritchard has also responded to those concerns, and we believe that the project as proposed is a very minimal environmental impact, and anything that it does affect, we've come up with ways to try to mitigate this. So any questions on kind of what the project is?
Question for the sponsors, done by Provost and Pritchard as well, they responded in fabulous.
Correct. So there was a contract that was done with Provost and Pritchard to do the study. The state had some questions. Provost and Pritchard then responded to those questions, and that's what's in your supplemental.
Are you satisfied with the response that they gave?
Yes. So with that, if there's no questions, if you want to open it up for public comment.
Any questions? But just to clarify a couple things, we're applying for an additional grant, right, for.
So as part of this project, and it'll get to it in the next item, but yes, we would be making an application for grant funding from the State Water Resource Control Board, and we would be seeking grant funding for the design, construction, and installation of the treatment system.
So like for future maintenance and stuff.
So the grant funding would be more for putting the facility in place. We have those $6.5 million of funds that we feel would be used for the operation in the future. So we would utilize grant funding to build the plant, and then those $6.5 million that has been committed to that well 11 project would be to basically operate it for the next however many years.
Okay. Thank you. Open this up for public comment. Any public comments regarding 8.1? No. Item is closed. Take a vote on the site.
Make sure that we're opening it for the public hearing, not just public comment, and I don't know if it matters, but
Sure.
for the record, it matters.
Okay, so for the, we'll open it up for public hearing. Okay, to make that clear. Anybody online?
No, we don't do that. And you would,
We're taking a vote on this.
yeah, but you would close the public
Okay,
hearing.
so I'm gonna close the public hearing. Grant it out.
You can.
Okay, so then now that the public hearing has been closed, what's going to be before you is to adopt resolution 2501 to accept and adopt the draft initial study mitigated negative declaration well 11 treatment project pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act. And that would be for a vote.
I'm looking that we approve.
Yes.
Resolution 501.
If you're gonna take public comment on all these items now,
Okay, fine, like,
Before you guys.
okay, so can we?
The other ones are just public, they're not public. You already know the public hearing.
So taking a public comment for like item 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
One's already done for public hearings.
okay, so there's a public comment for adopt resolution 2501. Online,
No, we don't have those.
oh. Okay. I know, sorry, trying to be ahead of the. Okay, so there's no public comments, so this item is closed too, right? Do I have to say public hearing on that one, or? And then we're taking a public, comment for the adopt resolution of 25-02. For the Lindsay City Council to authorize the city manager to apply for construction grant funding for treatment of well and. Any public comment?
Megan, just to clarify, so should we vote on each one separately? So there was public comment for 25-01. They vote now on that.
They can do it however they want, they can take it, as long as they take public comment, it doesn't matter, and they approve them separate.
Okay, so there's no public comment for the 3 is closed, and so now we vote.
No, so
We'll vote for 1.
Perfect.
Okay, I'll leave it on that, now I see how this is going.
Yeah, a little
So,
different.
So do we have a motion to approve 1?
So I motion that we adopt resolution 25-01 for the accepting and adopt the draft of the initial study.
So it's 13.1, but the first item in the list.
So this is first thing.
So it's like, see how there's.
One doesn't require a vote.
Oh.
It's just.
We can do that.
Okay, sorry. Yes, you just, so the item, you're right.
We're new.
So again, I motion to adopt resolution 25-01 to accept and adopt the initial study. We made the declaration of well letting to the California environment. Already has.
I'll set now.
So we have a motion by Councilmember Soria, second by Mayor Pro Tem Flores, Councilmember Nave.
Aye.
Councilmember Sanchez. Aye. Mayor Villarreal.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
And then moving on to adopt the resolution of 25, we have a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
I second.
Adopt resolution 25-02.
I second.
Sorry, so that was Yolanda and Adriana. We have a motion from Mayor Pro Tem Flores, second by Councilmember Nave. Councilmember Soria.
Aye.
Councilmember Sanchez. Aye. Mayor Villarreal.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
So now we're gonna do our closed session. I believe we're taking it to our city manager. You guys are welcome to stay warm, hold out. We will back.
There we go.
So there's nothing to report from the closed session, and now we're moving on to requests for future items.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go to
You just, yeah, we're not, let's go.
the declaration for the sanctuary city thing?
Okay.
And then also regarding, the gentleman talking about the monetary contribution for that.
Those are good.
For the contribution.
Well, yeah, I'm actually not very.
We're gonna discussion. We can discuss. Yeah, we're gonna discuss it and we'll take a vote.
Yeah, I let them know that the city couldn't do it financially, but if there's a way that maybe we can discuss and put it on the agenda, maybe people from the out can sponsor or donate, so I wish we could, think about if we sponsor them, then we have to sponsor everybody else. I agree.
And that's it, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Okay, that was all.
Anybody else? No?
I don't know if this is agenda item, but I'm starting to do it today. I know there's a considerary and photo. And the cars, they finished the roads, so the turns there, so cars are parked there. They're in school, when school's being out, I don't know if that's, part of our jurisdiction, or not.
So we had this come up during the punch list walkthroughs. We've actually scheduled for formal or
Anybody else?
So just to confirm, we have council consensus for the sanctuary city proclamation and for the discussion for the gate.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Start discussion.
Just discussion. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys being adjourned.
Yes.
Have a good evening.